Hey, this is Johnny Kelly from Patriarchs in Black and Typo Negative, and you're watching CMS TV.
Evidently, Rob Zombie did a press conference, which you took part in, but did not ask any questions, even though you had a question ready.
I had a question ready, but they didn't get to me.
Right. So, since you were part of this, why don't you set this up?
Okay, well, Rob was doing a press conference to talk about his tour that just started on the 29th.
Okay.
And so on, I think it was Wednesday, he had this press conference, and there was people from all over the country involved in the press conference. And basically the way it worked was you binged in and told them that you had a question, and then everybody had like one question that you were allowed to ask from all over the country. There was probably 100 people on the call, if not more, because they kept saying the names of the publications, and it's big publications. It's the LA Times, Las Vegas, whatever theirs is, the Gazette or whatever, Cleveland Plain Dealer, some blog stuff, but mostly print publications.
Mm-hmm.
And the level of questions that were asked, see, and this is why I wanted to do this, because these things every time turn into just a garbage fest.
Sure.
You would think, now Rob Zombie, I know you're not a fan of his music, Neeley.
I like the White Zombie stuff.
Yeah. But regardless of if anybody's a fan or they're not a fan,
sure,
the guy is a giant name right now.
Yeah, because of the movies.
The movie, well, and the music too. I mean, he's a 20-year veteran, a big-name music guy. Now he's a big-name movie guy as well. He's probably the biggest crossover guy of the last 20 years. Is that fair?
I would say so, but I would say that the accolades that he received for, remaking the Halloween probably really put him on the map or in the public eye or made him a recognizable name among people who are non-fans of his quote-unquote his music.
Right. So with that said, wouldn't you think that people would come into an interview like this with some really good questions? You only get to ask one.
Mm-hmm.
You know that going in. So don't you come in with something solid?
Well, that's for people who really care.
And clearly, 9/10 of this country does not care when it comes to doing their job. Because as you will hear, these questions are ridiculous bad.
Okay.
So here's what we should do. Here's my thought. We should maybe do 10 minutes of the beginning stuff.
Okay.
And then fast forward to the second half.
All right.
Because the first stuff, there was some interesting stuff, but the second half is where just stupid questions was all there was.
Okay.
So maybe do the first half to let people get the feel for it, and then let people hear some of the dumb questions asked by major pubs. But then at the back end, you just hear all-out stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and I know we don't want to do all 58 minutes of this or whatever
No.
it is.
Here's something I want to do as well, just as an experiment with just our fans.
Okay.
I want you fans, the studio phone line is open, 800-497-5891. 800-497-5891.
Hold on, MOL. You don't dial until he tells you what he wants.
All I want is you to call the studio line, and if you had an opportunity to ask one question directly to Rob Zombie, what would your question be?
Right.
That's what I want. So the studio line is open right now, so start dialing. 800, and I'm not going to entertain all kinds of conversation with you. I just want the one question. If I'm going to pretend I'm Rob Zombie answering your call, and I want you to ask me the question. Rob, if whatever.
Yeah, if blah, 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 blah.
And that's it, and then you hang up.
Right.
So if you have a question for Rob Zombie, and you have that one question, what would it be? Hey, hail and kill caller. This is Rob Zombie. What's your question?
Okay. Is there ever a chance at a White Zombie reunion, given the animosity between some of your ex-bandmates and you? I mean, do you see that happening in the future?
All right, thank you.
Because there's been some really cutting words between
Well,
the
thank
two
you
of
for your question. Thank you. All right, there's a legitimate question.
Legitimate question.
All right,
Correct.
so there's one right there.
And let me just state for the record, in an hour, that question was not asked.
Really?
That question was not asked
Wow.
in 1 hour.
Wow. 800-497-5891. Let's get a couple more calls in here. And if you had a chance to ask Rob Zombie one question, anything about him, his movies, his music, his tour, anything.
Yeah.
Just
What would your question be?
what would your question be? You could be part of this press conference.
That's right.
Hail and kill caller, you're on the air. This is Rob Zombie. What's your question?
On your tunes, Humble.
Thank you, Larry King. Look at Larry King jumping in on the press conference.
Good. Well, why not? He's a member of the press.
Sure. 800-497-5891. What is your question for Rob Zombie? If you could ask Rob one question, let's see how you compare to the quote-unquote journalists that were invited to this press conference and ask Rob Zombie a question. So pick up your phone and dial. All right, so let's start this press conference here and see what these people have to say.
All right.
Well, we have a lot of new things this time. We didn't want to go out and just do the same old.
That's
show.
Rob.
So we've dug deep and we've kind of tried to really mix it up. We're playing. There's always the obvious songs you have to play for people if they want to hear. But we're actually going back and grabbing some songs that I've never actually played live ever. Songs off some of the other records that I think people will know, and a couple new songs that people may or may not know. And it's real mixed. I want it to be like. Since we're doing this first run, kind of smaller places, I assume the people coming out are pretty familiar with the material, so you can mix it up a little bit. And as far as the stage show, there's been some pretty incredible advancements in digital technology, so we have a pretty high-tech show going on. It's pretty awesome.
We'll go next to Scott Iwasaki with Desert News.
Hi, Rob. Thanks for taking time to talk with us today. First off, Hellbilly Deluxe 2. What possessed you to go back and do a sequel to Hellbilly Deluxe?
Okay. So what possessed you to go back and do a sequel?
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
All right. So I guess, all right.
By the way, that's question 2.
All right.
It kind of happened that way. I mean, I've had the idea for many, many years, like, that would be kind of cool to go back and do that, because people do it with everything else, but not really records so much. But I thought, well, I'm not just going to call the record that, unless it seems like it makes sense. So even though the idea had been floating around my head for about 3 years, it wasn't until we were completely finished with the record and we kind of listened to it and I thought about it for a long time. I was like, then I decided to title it that. I didn't want it to just seem like, they just slapped this title in there. It makes no sense. It doesn't tie into the other record. It doesn't make sense. But when we were done, it really felt like a perfect companion piece to the first record. So,
We'll go next to John Soder with Cleveland Plain Dealer.
Yeah. Hey, Rob. Permit me a hard-hitting question here.
So can we be? Should we be prepared for a hard-hitting question here?
This is a hard hitter, and just everybody keep in mind, the Cleveland Plain Dealer is the biggest newspaper in northeastern Ohio.
Okay.
Get ready for this.
Hard-hitting question.
Yeah, John Soder is a big name in the Plain Dealer.
Rob, how important is the music to writing a song?
It's worse than that.
Okay.
Spirit of the season, what are your top 3 favorite Halloween candies? And on the flip side, what's the worst thing you can give a kid on Halloween?
Oh, are you kidding me? What are the top 3 favorite Halloween candies, and what's the worst thing you could give a kid? What is he? Is he a nutritionist now?
Could you play that again? I want everybody to hear one more time that came from a guy that is the main writer for the top 25 newspaper.
What is the top 3 Halloween candies, and what's the worst one to give a kid?
Because that's what everybody wants to know from Rob.
I don't know. I haven't read all the ingredients. That's what I would have said.
Record so much. But I thought, well, I'm not just going to call the record that unless it seems like it makes sense. So even though the idea had been floating around my head for about 3 years, it wasn't until we were completely finished with the record and we kind of listened to it and I thought about it for a long time. I was like, then I decided to title it that. Because I didn't want it to just seem like, oh, well, they just slapped this title in there. It makes no sense. It doesn't tie into the other record. It doesn't make sense. But when we were done, it really felt like a perfect companion piece to the first record. So, that, you know.
We'll go next to John Soder with Cleveland Plain Dealer.
Yeah, hey, Rob, permit me a hard-hitting question here. In the spirit of the season, what are your top 3 favorite Halloween candies? And on the flip side, what's the worst thing you can give a kid on Halloween?
Well, I mean, I think without a doubt, probably the worst thing you can give a kid is a toothbrush. I remember when that was a popular thing to do, you know, like giving kids dental floss. I mean, really, you know, punch them in the face. They'd like that better. I don't know. I'm sort of sick of candy. Candy corn is my favorite, and I usually get very excited when I see it on the shelves, which they usually start laying out the Halloween stuff, you know, first week of August. So pretty much by the second week of August, I never want to see candy corn again. So, yeah, that's pretty much where it begins and ends for me. I'm so excited for 5 minutes. Usually by the time I buy it, I open the bag in the car, in the parking lot on the way home, and by the time I get home, I'm disgusted with myself for eating it. So.
Do you know anyone who likes candy corn?
Me, I love it.
Really?
Love it.
Oh.
Love it. I'm 2 bags deep already this summer.
Are you shitting me?
I love it.
Yuck.
I am absolutely addicted to candy corn.
Really?
Yep.
Yuck.
I love it.
Do you like the chocolate-tipped candy corn?
No, that stuff is poison.
That's poison?
That's poison. But the orange and yellow and white ones, now that stuff is good. And you know what's the best part about the candy corns? You cannot eat a bunch of them. It's almost like low-fat candy because you can only eat about a handful of them, and then you get like a burning in the back of your throat. You have to stop.
Ugh. I can only eat one, and I'm just like, ugh, get that out of here.
Love it.
Yuck.
Absolutely love it. Listen, Mr. Christmas presents in the closet for 10 years. Don't be bagging on me because I like Halloween candy.
Yuck.
Long gone.
We'll go next to Kevin Johnson, St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Hey, Rob, how's it going, man? Good. Hey, Rob, I wanted to ask you if you can kind of compare and contrast this fall's Hellbelly Deluxe 2 tour with the first one. You know, I wonder if it's more alike, more different. You know, what would you have to say to that?
At least that's a somewhat legitimate question.
Compare and contrast the last tour to this one?
Not even the last tour, the last Hellbelly Deluxe tour,
right.
which I believe was like 10 years ago.
Right. Wow. I don't know.
It's hard hitting, man.
I don't know, man. I guess you'd have to be like a real fan to even understand the answer. Or you go, oh yeah, I remember that. I don't know how Rob is going to answer this, but I don't know. That's like reaching.
Well, let me just tell you. As you'll notice, I'll give everybody a piece to look for in this interview. Rob is bored out of his mind. Rob, obviously, the reason he's doing this is because he hates dealing with press, and this is why. And he just wants to kill himself for having to deal with this question after question.
So who's conducting this? Is this Nancy?
Well, no, she was working with another company.
Oh, okay.
She was. I mean, she does publicity for Rob, but through another agency.
Okay.
Well, it's different. I mean, I was actually toyed with it. I mean, I have the stage set from the first Hellbilly tour in storage.
Mm-hmm.
And I toyed with the idea of actually pulling out the set from like 11 years ago and using the actual set. And we started doing that. But there was something about it that felt so tired and contrived to do that. Like, I don't know. It just didn't. It seemed fake. It didn't seem right.
Mm-hmm.
So we've sort of gone back and created what seems like the new version of that in a way. You know, it's hard to describe. I can't wait for people to see it. We're all pretty excited. it's like the modernized update of that. You know, the stage feels very fresh, very modern, very high tech, but it really has the spirit of that first show. Minus, unfortunately, the days of shooting off massive amounts of fire everywhere you went are long gone. That is a huge problem now. It's like impossible to get the okay to do that. But everything else is pretty nuts.
We'll go next to Andrew Wilson, Rock Monthly Magazine.
Hey, Rob, how's it going?
Good.
Great. I was wondering, we actually got the notice, that Hellbilly Deluxe 2 is going to be delayed until next year, and that there was a big announcement to go along with that.
Yeah, there is a big announcement to go along with that, but just not yet. Yeah, sorry.
Kind of teasing us. Why the delay, though?
Maybe in a couple days. Well, but when people say we push it back to next year, that sounds like so long away. We really bumped it a couple weeks. Truthfully.
True.
But what it was I try to line up my projects with a long-range plan. Like, okay, I'll finish Halloween 2, I'll come off Halloween 2, I'll go from that to this, finish Hellbilly Deluxe 2, we'll move it. And sometimes all it takes is for one thing to shift a couple days, a week, and then suddenly you're in this crunch. And that's kind of what happened with the record. The record was done, and we were like, we just loved the record. We're like, this is the best record we ever made. Why are we, it feels like we're cutting corners and rushing on everything to get it out there now because we just felt like we ran out of time. And we go, you know what, rather than just sacrifice the record, we might as well just stop, calm down for a second, push it a couple weeks. It's not going to kill anybody. We're not going to cancel any dates. We're not going to do anything, and it'll be fine. The new songs from the record that we'll play on tour, they're out there on iTunes and out in the world, so it's not like kids will be like confused as to what we're doing. So it was really just, that was the reason. Things had just gotten so crazy with time frame. We're like, oh my God, there's no time to do press. There's no time to do a video. There's no time to do it. It was like a complete panic. And I was like, that's never a good way to start a project.
Well, the big announcement is he left his longtime label and signed with a new label.
Yeah. So basically that whole buildup was total bullshit.
Yeah. He just signed with a different label.
Which, he signed with a different label. The announcement of that label was made Thursday.
Right.
So this was Wednesday.
Yeah, so they made the announcement 24 hours later.
Yeah, but his answer was all bullshit.
Yeah, it wasn't because of running out of time and rushing and blah, blah, blah. It was just he was solidifying his new record deal.
Yeah, he was dealing with the legal parts of Jumpin' Ship.
Yeah, so big deal.
Yeah, wow, big announcement. It's great.
We'll go next to Gary Cara with Valley Advocate.
Oh, hi, Rob. Thanks for doing this. My question is, looking at the whole spectrum of your career and what you have going on, and I'm a card-carrying member of the KISS Army, which I don't know if you are as well, but
Here it comes.
He's a card-carrying member of the KISS Army.
Here it comes.
Isn't that embarrassing? Come on.
Is it?
You're 45 years old. Come on. You're not 16, 15, 16 when that used to be cool and you can go to school and show your friends your ID card and all that shit. You're 45 years old.
Card carrying member, my friend. Card carrying member. But meanwhile, here's Rob Zombie going, oh, Jesus.
To Gary Cara with Valley Advocate.
Oh, hi, Rob. Thanks for doing this. My question is, looking at the whole spectrum of your career and what you have going on, and I'm a card-carrying member of the KISS Army, which I don't know if you are as well, but I was thinking of back to the days when Gene would go off on his flights of fancies with a movie and a film, and the KISS Army would say he's lost his focus, and they'd get on him about not being able to keep the music at the level they want and that. And you've just been able to walk the line so splendidly from film to everything you do, and it seems like you have, audiences that maybe they bleed over or maybe they don't, but I don't know if if maybe you could explain how you're able to cross over, so seemingly effortlessly and smoothly and, not disappoint fans in any of your given industries.
Really?
What?
He's comparing Rob Zombie to Gene Simmons?
Yes.
Okay. And he does it so splendidly. He does it so splendidly. How does he make horror movies and then cross over and do horror music and not mess the two of them up?
It's tough. Do you think the fans are the same?
Astronomy spacesuit. What douche are we listening to?
It's every one of them across the country.
Oh boy. So he doesn't think that the guy who's got a true interest in horror movie and the macabre, who's parlayed his spooky stage presence and music over into the spooky music realm and back again, that's a stretch.
Yeah, that's hard, man. Why would you think you could do that?
Yeah, sure. Oh boy. Well, here's a simple answer. One's movies, one's music.
Oh, Rob's pretty much on pace with you there.
Well, I think probably the main reason is the process of the music and the movies and everything, it's the same. You know, I think, I'm not going to guess what was going on with Kiss. I have no idea. But, there's a big difference between being a member of a rock band and then going and being an actor. Because an actor is just, you're in some other guy's movie, you're playing whatever role. It doesn't reflect Kiss in any way. So that's probably what fans were complaining about. But for me, I put all my creative juices into the band and the videos and the stage show and the world, and then I totally take that same stuff and I put it into a movie, which the lines of the two have always blurred so heavily, and I think the fan base is very much the same. If I was going off and making, movies that my music fans had no interest in whatsoever and was disappearing for years at a time doing that, I think then people might feel like, oh man, he disappears for years and he goes and makes these, these movies that nobody can relate to or this, that. But I think since it's all sort of in the same world, it never really feels like I'm going off and losing focus. I think it's the same fans just keep getting fired up about the same thing, because I know on this tour, every time I go on tour, I'm going to sign as many DVDs of Halloween as I am CDs of Hellbilly Deluxe. It's just the fans are just all just excited about everything. So I think that's probably why.
Well, look, I was pretty damn close, and I didn't even listen to this.
You're right on the money.
I didn't even listen to this.
It's this, but can you tell how bored he is?
Yeah, it's just like, are you serious? Come on.
And he does it over and over. You just hear him sighing.
Yeah, it's just like, you people are lame.
Yep, they're just awful.
I would probably scream, God damn it, can't any one of you come up with a good question?
Yeah, it's like, is this really what you guys think your readers want to know?
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
What kind of candy do I like?
How does spooky music translate over directing to spooky films?
Tough.
Wow. I would agree with, and just the fact that guy said the Kiss Army were giving Gene Simmons a hard time about his roles in movies and losing focus on the music.
Yeah.
Were the Kiss Army rising up and telling Gene to get his shit together? Were they doing that?
No. Hell, Paul was just writing albums by himself. He didn't need Gene.
Right.
And it wasn't Crazy Nights, wasn't that supposedly completely written by Paul?
Yeah, and it's not like Rob Zombie is acting in Disney flicks,
No, like he's acting in any movies. He's not an actor.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's not like he's going off acting in like a Disney film.
Yeah, if he was doing, Madagascar 3 or something, yeah, well then maybe you might have something there, but...
Jeez, okay.
We'll go next to Michael Hauser with LA Music Blog.
Hey, Rob, thanks for the time. I wanted to ask...
He's like, yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
LA Music Blog.
As soon as she said blog, he's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, LA Music Blog.
Oh, great.
I sit there and write freelance on a blog.
What's your dumb question?
You doing anything special for your Los Angeles show that just happens to land on Halloween?
Yeah, the LA show is very different than all the other shows on the tour. I mean, it's like the extra show. What we're doing for LA is I hired my art director from Halloween, well, from all my movies, rejects, everything. And he's art directing the entire Palladium. And what we're trying to do is, there's a scene in Halloween 2, for those who've seen it, where there's like a rock concert that the girls go to. It's like a Halloween rock concert. We're basically recreating that live. Besides, me playing, I have the band, the fake band created for the movie will be there, and the fake horror movie host created for the movie will be on stage hosting the event.
Wait a minute. He's crossing his music over to his directing in movies?
What?
How is that going to work?
How can that be?
How could one possibly relate to the other? Oh, wait a minute. He just explained that.
How can that possibly be? I need to ask a card-carrying member of the KISS Army if he can do that.
In the same spirit he did in the movie. And, we really want to, and believe it or not, L.A. was the one city that granted us a permit to do fire, so that's the one city getting a big, pyro display. So, yeah, it's sort of the extra show. I mean, since, I never really felt like I had a hometown gig, but if there ever is one, it's Hollywood.
Is that you?
For me,
no.
So we wanted to make that
in the recording
because this is where all my friends are and everybody. So and also the main thing was I hate the idea of going to a concert on Halloween and they don't really make it a Halloween event. It's just like a concert that you could see on any day. So we wanted to go to great lengths to make it really like a Halloween event. It's the concert, but it's also a giant Halloween party. So yeah, it's very different.
All right. Well, that was a legitimate question.
Yeah, sadly, we went through all those St. Louis whatever and the L.A. whatever and the
Plain Dealer,
all garbage, and at least the guy with the blog had a real question.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was about 10 minutes in. Do we need to go further, or do we need to skip
forward to like 30, 35 minutes?
Okay.
And we'll just trail it out for the last 20 minutes or so.
All right. Let's see here. We'll go at about 27 here.
All right.
20. There we go.
John's incredible. So, he took it to a new level creatively, not just he can shred a million notes a second, but he didn't necessarily do that on this record. But he did enough of it that I think that he's happy.
We'll go next to Michael Swanger with City View.
Hey, Rob, thanks for taking the time. Back to blurring the lines with filmmaking and making music. I'm just curious if any of the songs that were written for the new record were inspired by your filmmaking. For instance, if you ever visualized a scene maybe you have or haven't shot and maybe wrote a song from it.
Blurring the lines. He's blurring the lines.
I guess maybe he's blurring the Technicolor as the White Zombie song goes.
Mm-hmm.
Lame.
So he's going to have to explain again that his music and his directing into the macabre movie foray is very similar.
And let me just state for the record, you skipped about 20 minutes?
Yes, I went 20 minutes.
So you skipped at least 3 other times that the blurring the line question was asked.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. The lines are always kind of blurring back and forth because you come up with concepts. You go, oh, that could be a cool movie or something, but the chances are you'll never get around to doing it. Or it does always blur because you just have ideas. I mean, probably the most obvious one on the record is we wrote a song called "Werewolf Women of the SS," kind of this old style, sort of trashy Dick Dale style song. Because I really love the Werewolf Woman of the SS trailer I did and all the work I did for that, most of which no one's ever seen because the trailer was, chopped down so short. And I sort of can't get it out of my system, and I don't know that it'll ever actually be a movie one day. I mean, it would be kind of cool, but I thought, now it is a song, so it lives on in another way. And it's actually, we're actually going to play that live, even though most people won't know it yet, because it's just with the visuals on stage, it really is one of the highlights of the show, I think. So yeah, that's probably the most glaring example of that.
We'll go next to Joe Lawler with Des Moines Register.
Hi, Rob. I was wondering, I've read a lot about the possibility of Hellbilly Deluxe 2 being maybe your last physical album, and I was wondering if the music isn't tied to this physical format, how do you think the album itself might change?
Really? Does it really matter if it's an MP3 or on a CD? Does it really matter? It's in a digital format anyway when they record it. Does it really matter that you put it on a physical plastic disc and that it's going to change anything? I'm just stunned. How's this going to change the music? It's not. It's in a digital format. All we do is after we record it in Pro Tools, which is on our Mac, we just record it on plastic and sell it in a store with a slipcover.
Right.
So what? God damn.
I knew you'd love this.
Oh. How's that going to change?
Oh, he's got an answer, of course.
It's not. We're going to sell it on iTunes like everybody else. Big deal. You can download the artwork, all right? You can burn it on your disc at home and download the artwork on your LaserJet color computer and make a CD yourself if you want to. Have at it.
Just with the visuals on stage, it really is one of the highlights of the show, I think. So yeah, that's probably the most glaring example of that.
We'll go next to Joe Lawler with Des Moines Register.
Hi, Rob. I was wondering, I've read a lot about the possibility of Hellbilly Deluxe 2 being maybe your last physical album, and I was wondering if the music isn't tied to this physical format, how do you think the album itself might change?
Well, I mean, I hope that it's not my last physical CD. I just was thinking the way things are, having had so many discussions about it, it sort of seemed like that was the general consensus of the industry, not mine personally. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird. I think it is going to change in the sense that I don't know that for all of us, albums are very important, and they will always remain important. And they're important to me because, you like to structure the songs in a certain way so they flow and whatnot. But I think it's gonna change and go back to just everybody's just going to keep releasing singles. Like you won't need an album. You'll just go, I'll put out a single here, back on tour, a single here, and then maybe you gang them all up together. But I think the concept of an album as a digital format may start getting outdated because if you go to iTunes and you look, it's like you put out a new album and you can see on the little line bar there like, oh, okay, so 99.9% of the people just downloaded the single. That's what they want. You know what I mean? So I think it's just sort of the way things are going. I mean, things are just getting broken up and fragmented so much. I mean, we have another song called Burn that is on Rock Band now. They're like, oh, we don't want to use a single. We love this song. So in a way, now that's going to seem like it's a single. So then, the actual structure and releasing of the album already has changed so much since my last record that who knows what it's going to be in another year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. I mean, people are going to always love music and they're always going to want music, but how they want it is just so different.
Well, it's technology that makes it available in a different format now. It's not because the people demand it. Right. It's because it's now available in this format.
Okay, see now, what I just heard? Blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. These questions are just ridiculous. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Rob, this is DJ Shadow. Rob, with Hellbilly Deluxe being released in 1998 on September 15th and their first single, Dragula, reaching number 2 on rock radio, which do you prefer, Monsters or Addams Family?
Thank you, Shadow. That was a good Shadow question.
It was a good Shadow question.
We'll go next to Jeffrey Puckett, Courier Journal.
Rob, even in your wildest, bloodiest teenage dreams, did you ever imagine a life and a career based on making horror movies and rock and roll?
Bloodiest dreams? Okay.
Can I put my 2 questions that weren't asked out there just for the record?
Sure, go right ahead.
The 2 questions that I had so that you can compare them and contrast, or maybe my questions suck, I don't know. The first question I was going to ask him was, is it tough for him to keep together his band with John Five and Tommy Clufetos being such hailed musicians. You know, I mean, they're very hailed superstar musicians. Is it tough to keep those guys within the confines of his band, considering that he's kind of an inconsistent musician? That was my first question.
Sure, it's just like how do you keep your established band together when it's so long between music?
Right, when they're waiting for movies to be put.
And they're waiting, so they're out there doing other things. Are you concerned about losing them to somebody else, or not being able to work with them when your schedule frees up, or whatever? I get that question.
So that was my first question, and my second question was, what did you think of the Grindhouse release that Quentin Tarantino did, and how would that possibly affect what you might do with future projects?
Sure.
Those were my two questions that I had for Mr. Zombie.
Right. Did you enjoy those Grindhouse movies?
Second one, not the first.
Yeah. See, I found it a tough watch.
It was long, and it's too long, and I know a lot of people just think that Quentin can do no wrong. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, obviously Pulp Fiction.
And I've told you I'm not a huge fan of that.
See, I love that movie.
I watched it till a year ago.
Yeah, I love that movie. It's one of those movies that I could watch again and again and again. I could watch that. I could watch Big Lebowski. I could watch Fargo. Those are movies that I can watch all the time.
Yeah, but Quentin, I mean, Kill Bill, not really interested.
No, I don't care for that. Not at all. I'm not a Kill Bill fan.
Lost Highway, not was that him?
Yeah, I think. I'm not sure.
I think that was him, not interested. What else has he done?
He did that From Dusk Till Dawn.
Not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I know there's a lot of, seems like the elitist movie snobs really like Quentin Tarantino. They get into that whole dialogue thing.
Yeah, what's this? Is Magnificent Bastards his latest one?
I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did. That was the Hitler one? Yeah, I saw that. That was, it's all right.
See?
That was just all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get back to it.
Yes. I mean, I think that's how I got here. I think that the people that get to where they are, they do imagine it, and they can't imagine it any other way. I mean, I always just had that thing in my mind. This is what I was going to do. This is how I was going to do it. I didn't want to have a normal life and have a normal job, and I didn't ever want to spend any time doing something that I didn't want to do, which, that sounds like a cute attitude when you're a little kid and your parents think you're crazy, but I think you have to hold on to that attitude because it gets beaten out of you as you grow up. Every little kid, I notice this, I notice this with art, with just like, drawing and painting. Every little kid draws and paints. Everyone. When you're in kindergarten, everybody's doing it, first grade, second grade, and then you start seeing people
what I just heard?
like,
blah, 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 blah.
That, I think that...
All right, is there anything else of real interest in this? I mean, seriously, we got like 24 minutes of this left. I don't think I could sit here and listen to this.
Oh, we got to go for a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Skip Rob's answers. The questions are what's interesting.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard to figure out where the answers are, and
this is kind of a long, stupid one.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, society and just in general tends to want to make you stop doing the things that you love. That seems to be like what the definition of growing up is. You must grow up and do something you hate for the rest of your life and be miserable. Being miserable is the definition of being an adult. And if you're doing something that you love, somehow you're just goofing off, even though I know I'm working 1,000 times harder than most people I know who are supposedly working real jobs. My job is not 9 to 5. It's like, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, and so, in a weird sort of way, yeah, I always did envision it.
Wow. Jeez, thanks, Rob. All right. Here's the last 10 minutes of this thing.
All right.
It was awesome. I mean, I love those guys. Obviously, I love Leonard Skinner. They've always been super cool in letting me use their music in my movies. Obviously, like Rejects very prominently, and I think there's the Skinner song in Halloween 2, and I don't know if there's one in Halloween 1, but cool guys, just all the way through. So, and it was definitely an honor to be part of anything involving Leonard Skinner, so it was great.
We'll go next to Bob Gendron with Chicago Tribune.
Hey, Rob, I had a quick question in terms of, you were talking about blurring music in movies, and I was wondering if you had any plans or thoughts of kind of doing what Trent Reznor's thinking about and kind of pairing, some of your horror ideas and making possibly sort of like a television show, given the amount of cable network channels available now in terms of being able to do what you want, being uncensored, and maybe tying it in with new music, if that was in your future, given the kind of the decline of the album.
All right, we get it.
Wow. So instead of making movies where he could possibly interject some of his music into it, he wants him to do a cable TV show.
Well, there's a lot of channels.
Yeah, he wants him to do a cable TV show.
And see, because there's a lot of channels, there's a good chance he could get on one.
Right.
Because basically he's a cut rate producer.
Oh boy.
That's almost what this guy said, isn't it?
Yeah, well, for the most part, and the thing is what people don't understand about the concept of horror.
Yeah.
That's something you got to take in small doses. I mean, I don't think people can have a steady diet of horror and make a TV show out of it. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
There's never been a successful one.
No, not at all. Unless, of course, you want to talk about the Munsters, because that was terrifying.
Yeah, that's true. That was Scary Adams Family. Ooh, ooh. And who can forget Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Or Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows, yeah.
Not really. I mean, I didn't even hear that he was thinking of doing anything like that, and I'm certainly not thinking of that at the moment. I'm pretty much, my plate is full with what I got to do. I mean, the music right now takes up my time, and then when I go into production on any movie, that's completely dominating. As much
Here's
as I
the
would
question,
love to
Neeley.
get involved in TV in some way,
Here's the question. If I say Rob Zombie to you, do you think of that guy as looking for a new project to do, or do you think he's fairly busy?
I'd say he's busy all the time.
Okay. So why would you ask him a question about, are you considering doing some new project?
Yeah. No, this guy, when he's done with a record and then he does a full-time tour, then he's back in the studio again working on either new music or working on a new movie.
Right, and it takes 9 months to produce a good movie. Produce, edit, etc., and he's involved in all aspects.
Right.
So, Rob, after you do this, have you put in any thought about actually doing some paintings? Because, Paul Stanley's out there doing paintings,
And
Paul.
when will you be writing your book?
Yeah, when is your book coming out, Rob? And I don't want to get away from that painting thing yet, because as a card-carrying member of the KISS Army, I recognize Paul's greatness as a painter, too.
And how does your music cross over to the medium of the written word?
Yeah. If you're going to write a book, Rob, how will you use some scenes that you might have shot, or maybe that you didn't shoot, in the development of the pages?
Now, could you write a good horror story, Rob? A real suspenseful book. And have you thought about maybe doing like Halloween book on tape?
Yeah, and Rob, let's face it, everybody's been waiting for Devil's Rejects to do book on tape with some video, some new video. Have you thought about doing that and shooting some new video, Rob? So stupid!
Oh, God.
Every question worse than the next.
can't imagine figuring out how to have time to do it. I mean, as it is now, there's so many other projects that come my way, and I just can't do them. It becomes physically impossible to do anymore. So at the moment, no, but who knows, in the future things can change.
We'll go next to Chrissy Elliott, Komodo Rock.
Hey there, Rob. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Okay, cheers. I'm good. I wanted to ask you, the level of notoriety that you've managed to achieve throughout...
Is she talking on a soup can and a string? What the hell?
She's calling from Mars.
Oh, a soup can and a string.
Right, she's in the Progresso commercial.
Yeah, exactly, that's exactly what I was thinking.
As much as I would love to get involved in TV in some way, I can't imagine figuring out how to have time to do it. I mean, as it is now, there's so many other projects that come my way, and I just can't do them. It becomes physically impossible to do anymore. So at the moment, no, but who knows, in the future things can change.
We'll go next to Chrissy Elliott, Komodo Rock.
Hey there, Rob. How are you doing?
Good, good. How you doing?
Okay, cheers. I'm good. I wanted to ask you, the level of notoriety that you've managed to achieve throughout your career is quite stunning, and I think it's fair to say that you've probably achieved almost iconic status now, because the Halloween movies are often seen more as a tribute to the original rather than just a remake. So what we're looking at here is an audience perception of you, and with that kind of awareness, and I'm sure you're not oblivious to that, does that make a difference to your ability to express things creatively in the methods you use? And does it make a difference to how you live your life as well, with family and in a normal way too?
What? What did she ask?
You know.
Your involvement in the Halloween movies, does that make it difficult for you, for your fans to see you in a creative way? Is that what she said?
She was asking how it makes him personal life.
Okay. Wow, that was a convoluted question.
Does that make a difference to your ability to express things creatively in the methods you use? And does it make a difference to how you live your life as well, with family and in a normal way too?
So does your music and your being involved with directing movies affect the way that he lives his normal life and with his family?
Rob, do you hack up and haunt your wife? I mean, really? That's about what she asked.
Yeah. Rob, do you find yourself craving human blood? I mean, Rob, when you, when you take your children down to the bus stop, do you feel like beheading them in front of everybody to everyone's horror?
It's about what she asked. What a dumb question.
I know. Wow. Rob, do you go out in full zombie makeup when you go to Walmart to pick up your, the stuff you need around the house?
That's right.
Scare the shit out of everyone. Wow.
Rob, comment.
Jeez.
Not really. I mean, I just kind of do what I do as far as the creative stuff goes. I don't really take into account anything else, because I think if you do that, it'll start getting in your head and ruining the creative process for you. I mean, you can't think, oh, well, people love this, so I'm going to do more of this, or people want this. I mean, you really have to go. I do everything with my gut instinct. And, even dating back a couple of years when, like, with a record like Educated Horses, my gut instinct was drop all the image, drop everything, and just be a regular band for a minute. Even though the fans certainly didn't want that, but I knew that was the right move, because if not, you become like a Las Vegas act and you become a cliche, and you stop being what you wanted to be in the first place, which was a rock band. You just start being some kind of cartoon show. So, that you just have to go with your gut, and that's the choices I make on everything else. Now it's like, I have to walk away from the Halloween franchise, because that's what my gut tells me to do, not what people are telling me to do. A lot of people are like, oh man, you got to do part 3. I'm like, well, I'm done. I can't. And as far as
it's kind of run its course.
Yeah. About six or seven movies ago.
Yeah, no shit.
No offense. I mean, but really, Rob, there was no need for either of them.
The way I live my life, nothing has really changed. I mean, I have a small circle of friends, and that's that. And I don't know, everything pretty much seems like pretty normal. I'm pretty much live in my own bubble.
So are you saying that your job doesn't affect your normal life? You mean you only do this as a living and make money off of it, and then when it's time to go home for the day, you can just leave it behind?
How can that be?
I mean, you don't carry the persona with you in your personal life? Yeah, okay.
It's so stupid.
We'll go next to Ryan LaPointe, Detroit Live Magazine.
Hey, Rob, how you doing, man?
Good.
Good. Just an odd question. I saw you guys have a tour date in Columbus the day before Thanksgiving, and you're playing here in Detroit the day after. What do you got planned for Thanksgiving?
That was your question? What do you got planned for Thanksgiving? Really? Well, I'm going to sit in the hotel room. I'm going to heat up a can of soup. and I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna watch the football games, and wish I was at home, and because
Hold on, what is the minute count that we're at?
6 minutes.
No, the other way.
Oh, it's 51 minutes.
This guy waited 51 minutes to ask Rob Zombie what he's going to do for Thanksgiving.
What's your plan for Thanksgiving? You're going to play in Columbus the day before. You're going to play in Detroit the day after. What are you going to do in between, Rob?
Travel.
Are you gonna catch a plane? You got family in the area? If not, basically what I'm trying to say is you're invited to come to my house. That's basically what I'm trying to say here is, I live in the Detroit area, and since you're coming here anyway, we'd be glad to have you at our table and break bread. Is that cool, Rob? Would you like to come to my house?
It's almost his answer.
I think that's what he's saying.
Wait to hear the answer. You're so close.
Really? I didn't even listen to this.
Okay, I have to walk away from the Halloween franchise because that's what my gut tells me to do, not what people are telling me to do. A lot of people are like, oh man, you got to do part 3. I'm like, well, I'm done. I can't. And as far as the way I live my life, nothing has really changed. I mean, I have a small circle of friends, and that's that. And I don't know. Everything pretty much seems like pretty normal. I'm pretty much live in my own bubble.
We'll go next to Ryan LaPointe, Detroit Live Magazine.
Hey, Rob, how you doing, man?
Good.
Good. Just an odd question. I saw you guys have a tour date in Columbus the day before Thanksgiving, and you're playing here in Detroit the day after. What do you got planned for Thanksgiving? Or are you going to be on this side of the country?
Well, we'll be in Detroit for Thanksgiving. What we're going to do, I don't know. Both John Five and Tommy Kofetis are from Detroit, so they're happy to be home probably. But we don't have any big plans, The funny thing is, like, when we're on tour, we like to stay in a tour frame of mind. We don't really sightsee. We don't like to break away and do other things. We don't like to do anything. We like to stay focused on what we're about, because sometimes it feels like if you try to do too many other things, it's tiring. And then you never want to walk on stage feeling like, oh, man, I'm tired. I shouldn't have been doing all that other stuff all day long. So probably we won't do anything. We'll sit around and do nothing. And I don't eat turkey anyway, so I don't know. It's not exactly the most exciting day for me.
We'll go next.
I'll sit in the hotel room, and I'm not going to do anything.
You're going to do shit.
I'm not going to do shit. That's nice.
Good question, Guy.
To Atia Anthony with Insight Magazine.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry. Hey, Rob, how are you doing? It's Atia. You're known for being very dark and very Halloween-y. Would you ever think of expanding your options to any other type of music or movies? Any other type of genres?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the movies I've made up to this point have been pretty dark and pretty much in that world because those are the opportunities that were presented. But I'm also working on something now that is not in that world at all. And obviously getting something made that's not in that world is more of a challenge because, the people that put up the money for these things know that if I stick to that sort of thing, it's easily more profitable. So it's a much bigger challenge to break out of it. But I'm trying to do that. And as far as music, music is sort of different. It's like you have your sound and you have your thing, and within that, we're always trying to change the music up and expand the boundaries of what we do. But you have your signature sound that you're known for, so that doesn't vary quite as much. But with movies, that's really the opportunity to, if everything goes according to plan, and the next movie that I want to make is the next movie, people are going to be shocked as to what it is. Put it that way.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks for the
And
question.
we'll go next to Alan Scully with Last Word Features.
Hi again, Rob. I'm curious, with all the experience...
Is he talking through a pillow? Listen, I'm calling from a phone booth, so I'll remain anonymous. I don't want you to recognize my voice, but...
What are you doing? And making movies. I wonder how that kind of translates into doing a live show and making a live show. I don't know if visually it influences how you put together the stage set and whatever you're going to do with that. Also curious if it relates at all to how you put a song sequence together, because in a way, a concert can be kind of like telling a story too. And I don't know if you see much influence or that sort of thing between what you do as a director and what you do as a band leader.
Didn't he answer that question earlier?
5 times.
I mean, are these people not listening?
I was listening.
This is basically the same question has been asked 2 times, and we skipped over about 40 minutes of this.
And I'm telling you, it was asked 5 times before this guy.
Wow.
I literally had the mic turned off and was laughing that he was asking the same stupid question.
Oh, boy.
I mean, everything influences everything else. Because being a director of a movie is, I'm basically the director of the tour, of the show, of everything else, of the record. So really, you're telling a story, or, well, let's not say you're telling a story so much, but you're trying to entertain a crowd, be it with a show or a movie. And the way to do that is with the flow of it all. And that's really what you're trying to do. You want to lock people in with some excitement at the beginning, but you don't want to burn them out, so you want to bring it down and then give them something different. And you don't want it to get tired because, sometimes you go to a lot of times now, action movies now are all action until you're like, hey, this would be great if someone actually spoke some dialogue at some point. This is ridiculous. I've been watching nonstop action for 40 minutes. I'm totally bored. You can take something that's very exciting, make it boring if you just keep hammering at it. Same thing with a show. Bands come out and they just keep slamming through song after song after song after song with no flow or vibe or changing it up at all. Same thing happens. The show starts off and you think, oh, this is great, and then 20 minutes later you're like, I'm so bored. So yeah, it is. You're always trying to figure out how do you take the audience on that ride and keep them on it, because it's a show and a movie, they're around the same time, 90 minutes, and how do you keep someone's interest peaked for 90 minutes where they're not looking at their watch or texting their friends or doing whatever, and then it's the same process. It's the same thing that you're always trying to figure out.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
For the 5th time.
Thanks for not listening.
And we have time for one last question. That'll come from Scott Iwasaki with Desert News.
Hi, Rob, again. Thank you again. Real quick, you talked about your plate being totally full, not having any schedules for anything else. But hypothetically, if you had time, you've already done music, movies, comics, what would be next, a creative outlet for you that you would like to try?
Wow.
I like how he prefaced the question with, I know you already said you don't have time for any of this stuff, but if you did, what would...
Yeah, what's next for Rob Zombie?
What are you going to do?
Let's see, you do music, you do comics, you do movies, you do a lot of different things. Is there something left? Could there possibly something left that Rob Zombie hasn't tackled yet that you're just biting at the bit to do?
Well, yeah, I've been looking at being a network anchor for a news department. What kind of stupid answer do you want from him?
I always admired those cable TV cooking shows, and I've often wanted to, do kind of like the Iron Chef.
Yeah, of course. I've thought about doing a reality show where the cameras follow me around my house, and then we're going to go on Survivor.
Well, one of the things that I've always wanted to, I've done it before, but not in a while, and every year it seems to slip through the cracks due to something, is, about 10 years ago or so, I did theme park attractions for Universal Studios, 2 years in a row for their Halloween Horror Nights. And I always thought, I'd really like to expand that, creating these theme park attractions. But every year when Halloween comes up, it just seems to come up so fast again that I'm in the middle of a music or a movie or something, I can't do it again. So that's the thing that always falls through the cracks, some sort of Halloween attraction. I've had offers to do it in Vegas and here and there, and it's just never the time, because really, you'd have to be working on it full force right now for next year. I can't, again. So that's really the thing that I would like to do that always seems to somehow take a back seat to the other projects.
Well, that does conclude today's Rob Zombie conference call. We do thank you for your participation on today's conference.
Thank you. And goodbye. Yeah, I think I would have to side with Rob on this. I would totally hate to do these press junkets.
Why he does it like this, so that it's just one time and it's 1 hour instead of like 2 days.
All right, guys, you got 1 hour to ask all the stupid questions you're going to ask.
Exactly.
Because I don't want to have to answer these again and again and again.
Yeah.
Oh boy! Wow.
So bad.
Oh, that was a snore fest.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh, did anybody get anything out of that was like, wow, did you hear what he said?
No, nothing. Nothing. The only thing he could have said that would have been good, he didn't say.
Right.
He should have said there'll be a big announcement tomorrow, but you'll be seeing I'm moving to a new label.
Sure.
That's what he should have said.
Sure.
There was no reason not to say it. He should have said that, and then there would have been something to use.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, the whole thing was just a waste. What's your favorite candy?
Got absolutely nothing out of that. So if I were to see one of these, well, you live in Cleveland, find out what's his face writes in the Plain Dealer about this.
Let's look.
See if there's anything in there. Let's read his review of this press conference and what he got out of this.
Let's look up Rob Zombie.
See if there's anything out there yet.
See if he used it yet. Oh, look. It's right here. Hold on. I'll pull it right up. For Rob Zombie, this is dated the 27th of October. For Rob Zombie, Halloween means it's time for a quick candy corn fix.
Really? That's what he got out of that? Well, that was my question, so I'm going to lead the story with that.
With Halloween right around the corner, we asked ghoul rocker and horror movie director Rob Zombie to divulge his all-time favorite Halloween treat. Candy corn is my favorite, Zombie said. I usually get very excited when I see it on the shelves, and they usually start laying out the Halloween stuff the first week of August. By the second week of August, I never want to see candy corn again. Usually, I open the bag in the car in the parking lot. By the time I get home, I'm disgusted with myself for eating it. My days of gorging on Halloween candy are long gone. And what's the worst thing you can give a kid is a toothbrush, Zombie said. And remember when that was the popular thing to do? Or people were giving kids dental floss? I mean, really, punch them in the face. They'd like that better. Zombie brings his Hellbilly Deluxe tour to the Akron Civic Theater, blah, blah, blah. That's the end of the article.
That was it? Just his question?
Just his question.
That was it. Wow. Great.
That is horrendous.
Wow. Fantastic. Jeez.
I'm glad you thought to do that. That's really funny.
Pathetic. Pathetic. Oh, boy. What is wrong?
That's great.
What is wrong with these people?
Oh, my God. And they pay that guy.
Yeah.
That guy got paid probably $150 for that article.
Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh, that's bad.